IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Welcome. Remind me, Candace, I want to share something with you once I get into this. But welcome, and thank you for stopping by the 327th episode. No one is more surprised than I am. 327 of the number one rated show here on IPMNation.com. You're in to All Natural Being and, as you just heard, the gong heard round the world, broadcast as it happens here on IPMNation.com, and now multicast live on Facebook, YouTube, over on allnaturalbeing.com, and of course the new Brian Brawdy app. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, please do so. However you come to hang with us, we're always pumped to have you, and always live. From the soon-to-be transitional radio uplink here in Columbus, Ohio, with rebroadcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, all the regular suspects. You get the drift. Greetings wherever you are, here in the Garden of the Mortals. What a gig it is. Winning or whining, flip the coin. It's up to us. Life, it's your labyrinth, your shot at running the table, diving the rabbit hole as you see fit. The hell with your critics. Don't let them pigeonhole you. What do they know? What, they're more of an expert on your unique than you are? They're more of an expert at your wild at the core than you are? Time to own your primal scream, not placing it in the junk drawer, front and center, right where it belongs. That's why we're always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list. Reinstalling and reinstating the true wit, wisdom, and wallop, I dare say, of your inner whisper. May have been a while, maybe dormant, but it's not dead. We're here to reboot your robust, finding your ferocious, all in time to out-brutal the brutal. That is the cut and shuffle that fate deals you, or can deal you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. But before we hit it this evening, hello to my friends here in the United States, Canada, Mexico, the UK, my good friends in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Peru, Poland, to those joining us from all over the globe. It really is great to have you with us. I truly am fired up to be driving your bandwagon, to be your virtual hitchhiker if you're out and about and on the go today, to be your biggest fan however you get to us, to always be avidly you. But before we jump into tonight's show, let's get some of the legwork out of the way. Let me ask you, why would you let anyone hijack your cognition, play you like a sock puppet? The days of needlessly torturing ourselves, well, it's over. Once we take the time to admit we're going to take life into our own hands. So what are we waiting for? Here's our opportunity to mortal up. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And tonight we're kicking around some thoughts. Thinking, I like to call it, at the tip of the spear kind of stuff. And we're talking about self-acceptance. But we also have a pretty cool guest. Tonight will be the first installment of Lee Word Wednesdays. We're going to have Lee Rowley, who's coming to us from Sales Copy Academy. He's going to be joining us here in a little bit. I'm going to call in. We've got some really cool things to talk about with Lee tonight. You should also know that Sales Copy Academy, and that's why I was laughing when I started, because Candace said to me last night, she goes, "Oh, you didn't get the other clock started." And I'm like, yeah, you know what? We did get it started, did we? But then what I did is I figured out a way this evening that I could do it all and get the clock. So I'm busy, right? Matt's voice is on the countdown, and I'm busy running around, hitting remote controls and everything else, but I think I pulled it off. That's why I was laughing when we came on. I'm like, man, how many more hoops can you jump through? But I think we pulled it off. So Candace, I was definitely thinking about you. Darren, let me say hello, or be the first to say hello and welcome you to All Natural Being. Patricia, happy birthday, one day after. Nice to have you with us. Shane, hello to you as well. Jamie, hi. How are you? Henry, nice to see you. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All a Natural Being. Let me make sure I get to everyone else. Hey, Kelly. Nice to see you. Wait a minute. Where's that one? Wait, Kelly. No, that's supposed to be. Yeah, I still haven't figured out if anyone else has. Hey, John. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Wayne. There you go, Wayne. Nice to see you as well. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. I still haven't figured out the see below part of it here, so I apologize if you think, oh, Brian, you cut me off. You need an assistant. Boy, Shane, that's true in more ways than one. Let me tell you. So, hello. Yes, there you go. Hello. Come on, stop. See. And at you, because we're going to do it in French as well, right? Because I'm all the time getting in trouble for culturally appropriating different things. So, comment ça va? Ça va bien. How are you, Brian? I'm doing great, Henry. How are you, my friend? So what we're going to talk about today before Lee joins us from Sales Copy Academy is we're talking about self-acceptance. And I've been thinking a little bit about it today. You know, not far from my house, the road is under construction. There's a big sign that says bump. And as you probably have figured out, you're moving right along, right? You're in your car. You go, oh, what's that sign say? Sign says bump. And then you're right into it. And then I thought about it. Yeah, life's full of bumps. What are you going to do? Right? You can just accept yourself in the labyrinth of life. You can accept however you play it out here in the Garden of the Mortals. You know, we've argued about this before. I have in other circles where people want higher consciousness. Well, I'm perfectly content with your consciousness as it is. Oh, people want you to change. They want you to be this. They want you to be that. We're thrilled just for you to be you. So I say, go be you. You're wild at the core. You're all natural being. You're primal scream. Why? Oh, I need to change. I need to grow. I need to set a list. I need to have goals. I need a bucket list. I need a list of things. And I'm simply saying, what would be wrong? You know, just for a little bit of time, what would be wrong to just be accepting, have a little bit of compassion about who you are, where you are, some of your idiosyncrasies, right? We all have them. I love them about me and yours, right? But what would be wrong with just going, yeah, I'm you know, I might not be wrapped tight all the time, but the package, for the most part, it's a pretty good gig. I'm still alive, right? That's what we're going to talk about this evening. A little bit of self-acceptance where you can just become your own best friend, become your own biggest fan. Most certainly don't turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to that inner whisper. Just be thankful that you're even here to have a inner whisper and go, yeah, I'm pretty good with it. You know, I'm not perfect. Tough luck, right? I'm not perfect. I just accept the way I am. I accept. Don't tolerate what fate throws at me, but I accept that it's up to me to bring the counter punch. And I think at times maybe everyone wants to change. They want to, I love this one. How about some spiritual growth? No, thanks. I'm good. Go sell crazy somewhere else, I think was the line. I love that line. I don't remember what movie it's from. Darren says, hello, everyone. We all had the chance to wake up and live. Absolutely. Shane, understand your current consciousness before going higher. I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you, Shane, because you know what I think? I think if you understand your current consciousness, then you're going to go, yeah, you know what? It's a pretty good gig. I'm good with the consciousness right now. I might from time to time, if I'm going to channel my inner Henry, I might from time to time go on a little bit more of an ego trip than I really want, right? Channel my inner politician. You get where I'm going with that. But for the most part, yeah, because you could come, Shane, to just go, yeah, I think I'm wrapped pretty cool as it is. Now, my critics might not say that, But why let the critic spew in? Not far from that construction site that I told you about. Good evening, Dallas. Nice to see you. And John, thank you for joining us. Candace, I was just talking about you running around, trying to make sure that I got both clocks going at the same time. I was thinking of you laughing as I was counting down in my mind Matt's voiceover. So I was thinking of you. Thank you for joining us, right? But not far from that construction site I told you about the bump, there's another little sign that says sidewalk closed. Apparently while they're doing construction out on the road, they don't want you walking on the sidewalk either, which is really kind of ironic. You can't use your car. You can't use the sidewalk. So they're just like going, look, just don't come to this part of town, right? This little part of the village or hamlet, wherever it is that I live, right? And there's a sign that says sidewalk closed. So I thought about that again when it comes to the critic spew, when it comes to all the things that are going, all the opinions, all the binge thinking, all the committee vote. Just hold up a little sign. Imagine in your mind that sign says sidewalk closed. I'm not going to take your crazy today. I'm full on. Thank you very much. I don't need any more. But that's what I've been thinking about, this sense of self-acceptance. And what's so wrong that you just can't go, yeah, you know what? Life's a pretty good gig. Am I perfect? No. Do I have everything dialed in? Heavens, no. Would I even really want everything dialed in? Who the hell knows? But I'm pretty happy with the way I'm situated right now. Now, maybe not all of the particulars. Maybe I could have something be a little different. But overall, right? Overall, are you pretty pumped with who you are? Why wouldn't you be? You're still here in the garden of the mortals, the labyrinth of life itself. And I think it's a great gig. Marcellus, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on All Natural Being. Nice to see you. We're talking, before we get a call from Lee, from Sales Copy Academy, we're talking about self-acceptance and what would be wrong with just looking in the mirror and being halfway tickled with what you see, right? A little bit of compassion. Do you have scars? Sure. Do you have some shortcomings? Absolutely. Are there some things that, there's some things if you had nothing else in the world going on, you might go, I could alter that a bit, maybe. Sure there is. But the overall sense of compassion that you bring to yourself in this particular moment at all of time, what would be wrong with that? Is all we're asking tonight. Darren says, I told the voices in my head that I'm going to start charging rent. They left. Yeah, believe me, Darren, I know what that's all about, right? I know what that's all about. I call it binge thinking, right? All those different things where sometimes you just don't get off your own back. Marcellus is here, so I feel comfortable now in using the term chop block, right? But we just chop block ourselves at every turn. We just don't cut ourselves any slack. So I'm thinking, what would be wrong with cutting yourself some slack? What would be wrong with going, yeah, you know what? I'm not perfect, but good God, I'm enjoying the run, right? I'm digging life here in the labyrinth. What would be wrong with that? And I suspect at times when we think, that I'm depressed or I'm upset or I'm not firing on all cylinders, as Candace says, I am far from perfect, but I've learned to love myself. Absolutely agreed. Candace, that's all we're talking about. We might not be perfect, but who wants perfection if you can even get it anyways? And what a trip that sets us up for. Carla, nice to see your smile pop up on the icon. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. And it's funny because that's what Lee and I hope we'll be talking about here in a little bit. This whole concept of perfection. Everyone wants to be perfect, want to be super smart, want to be all those things. Instead of just being human, right? Instead of just going, hey, I'm in the fray, and I'm pretty proud of myself for having lasted this long. I'm pretty proud of the attitude that I bring day in and day out when it comes time to out-brutal the brutal, right? Perfection. I think it's set up by the egoist in life that constantly realizing we can't find perfection. I'm sure there's some flaw in the sun. I'm sure there's some flaw in the way the earth is put together. I'm sure there's some kind of flaw in the universe. So I'm not even sure that perfection is natural. Right? People's belief in perfection may be normal, but that doesn't make it natural. Sue, good evening. I enjoyed texting with you earlier, by the way. Nice to see you. Hope all's well. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. We're talking about the mashugana of always trying to be perfect. And what would be wrong with just going, yeah, you know what? I'm okay. I can do this gig called life. Hello, Janice. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I know a couple different people from here. I had naturally perfect hair today, though. Yes, so did I. It just didn't come out. It just didn't come out, but I'm sure if it did come out, it would be naturally perfect. Let's go ahead and take a call. Good evening. Who's this?
Hey, this is Lee Rowley.
Lee, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Well, I'm just laughing at Sue. She said she had a perfect hair day today, and I said, well, so did I. It just opted not to grow out to the top part of my scalp, I suspect. But yeah, I think I had.
Every day is a perfect hair day for us.
I know, you and me, right? Mm-hmm. I got it. So good evening, sir. Well, first off, let me thank you. I don't think we've been on air since together at least, since the 24-hour marathon. And let me thank you and Sales Copy Academy for being the official time sponsor. It was great, and I'm still learning some of the remotes. I can't wait for you to come to the studio and see exactly what it is, but I should thank you and the good folks at Sales Copy Academy for, keeping us honest. And last night, Candace was here, and she says, now, Candace, I fired my long guy today, and I felt good about it. One of the most negative people. It felt good. Okay, and Jamie says, oh, Candace, you should get rid of your plumber next. I don't know. Maybe they're brothers. Patricia says, it's all about progress, not perfection. So, Lee, welcome. Thank you for hanging out with me. And let me also thank you for hanging out a couple times during our 24-hour marathon. Everyone says, oh, you pulled it off. And to be honest, Lee, I really didn't. It was everyone that stuck to their call time, right? All the different people that called in. You and Henry and Patricia and Jamie and Candace and Sue. All the different people that called in to help me through that evening. That's what made it work. So I should thank you again for that as well. And just ask, generally, how have you been?
Fantastic. Just back for some travels and settling back in and hopefully creating some magic for my clients.
Very cool. Well, I love the pictures. I love the pictures that you were putting up while you were gone. You want to give us a little idea for those people that didn't see your pictures over on Facebook? Where were you traveling? What were you doing?
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. So we spent a few days in Orlando just working and drove down to see the Salvador Dali Museum. If any chance Carla and I get to tour an art museum, we're there.
Very cool.
So that was really cool. And from there, we went into Key West, and we won't talk about that because it wasn't all I'd hoped and dreamed. It was one big frat party, basically, is about all I could really say. So we went to an art museum in Cuba, which was super nice. Just
How was Cuba?
See the art. I'm sorry?
How was Cuba?
Cuba was nice. We didn't get to spend a lot of time there.
Did you have a mojito?
Most of it was,
Did you have a mojito?
I did. I think Carla did. I did not.
I love Carla. That's, you know what? I always say first thing I do when I go to Cuba, it's like the first thing I do when I go to Puerto Rico, I'm going to have a mojito.
There you go.
Very cool. Very cool. So you had a good time overall, and now you're back in the States.
Lots of ideas and lots of creativity to make it happen.
Very cool. Let me say good evening to Dana. Thank you so very much. Hopefully Gabriel had a fantastic birthday. Candace says, Jamie and I need 2 or more hour slots on the big one. All right, we'll make that work. Thank you very much. Dana is laughing. She knows what it's like to get a real mojito, right? We're not talking about any of these fake ones that they just mix up. Carla knows what I'm talking about. So, Lee, here's what I'd like to jump in tonight. I got off on this kick a little earlier. It's a pleasure to see you as well, my friend, even if it's just your avatar pop up. I got on this kick a little earlier today about perfection, where everyone's like, oh, well, I'll never be perfect. I'll never be perfect. And it made me think of a conversation that we had about copywriting, and that maybe some people keep from channeling their inner copywriter, if they will, because they're always worried about perfection. And then I thought the way language is just butchered by people who want to sound perfect, right? Who have to use $37 words, 16 different syllables, or even ones like I saw a politician today talk about, a guy with a silver spoon born in his mouth talk about, oh, this thing, it's been like a knife fight. I'm thinking, how would you even know what a knife fight is like, right? So can you talk a little bit about copy and how it's more important to be true than to go after this sense of perfection? Just doesn't seem to exist naturally, does it?
It is very unnatural, but it comes from a place of wanting to be accepted, to impress the other person, and that, a lot of small business owners especially, and even some bigger ones that I've dealt with, corporations, get this idea in their head that the way to succeed is to show the person you're talking to how important you are, how much you know, what
Okay.
you've done, what you've accomplished, and it becomes this, be impressed with me, revere me, and then you're going to want to do business with me because I'm just so magnificent. And it doesn't work that way at all. I mean, if it ever did, it definitely doesn't now that isn't everybody and their brother's a coach of some sort.
Sure.
Super
super annoying.
Brandpreneur, if you will.
A brandpreneur. Super annoying, I think, when you bump into people like that. I mean, I'm all over the thesaurus, right?
Right.
Just don't wear it on your sleeve is all I'm saying. All I'm thinking.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, because it creates this ivory tower thing. As I say,
Right.
you always want to create a conversation with your prospects, not shout at them from an ivory tower.
Sure.
It reminds me, I actually had a conversation with a client this morning who's a coach in the corporate space. And, she had sent me reams and reams of just this big, long corporate gobbledygook of letting I read. And finally, I just picked up the phone and I said, "What do you do?"
Right.
And she's very proudly said, "I prioritize your paradigm." And I went, okay, wait, what? And that's supposed to mean something. You help me prioritize. I never once woke up at 3 a.m. and said, "Goodness, I need to prioritize my paradigm." Man, how have I gone all this long without prioritizing my paradigm? What are you talking about, lady? I told you I was going to get fired up about this too.
Well, here's the thing. It's super right? It's super annoying to such a degree that I even texted Ashley earlier today when I knew what we were going to be talking about. And I go, can you remind me of some things that I've said to you that I just find annoying when it comes to people, right? And one of the things, can I just share a couple of them with you? One, she sent me an Inc. article, which I thought maybe we could go through quickly, but it says, these 32 business cliches need to die. Well, so we'll get to that in just a minute. But for the people here in the thread and for all of us hanging out, we're just not talking about being a copywriter if you're writing for clients, but we're talking about just composing emails, composing a thought, composing a birthday card or this or that, right? Just how to be natural, how to be you. And one of the ones that I get all the time, well, from our perspective, and I was just like, those words just drive me nuts. But I wanted to get in and see what you thought of some of these business cliches. To be honest, made number 1 on the list, right? So that when you're writing or communicating with somebody, say, oh, to be honest, or honestly. Or another favorite one of mine is when someone says, well, literally, this literally happened. Well, if you tell me it happened, I believe that it happened. You don't have to say to me, it happened. So, to be honest, is one. Another one. It is what it is. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. With all due respect, you're getting ready to get hammered when someone says, well, with all due respect. Oh, here's another one. Let's see if we have the bandwidth. What did you tell me earlier today, Lee? You said something. I'm prioritizing your paradigm, Lee.
Right,
what did you say about when you walk into a meeting? You told me a manager one time said, what was he saying?
Yeah. So in a former life, I was a corporate monkey, because I could say that, right?
I think so, sure.
Okay, cool. Sure. So I was a corporate monkey for about 10 years. And, I would spend about 15 hours a week in freaking meetings, most of which were absolutely pointless. But right before I left, I remember sitting in a meeting in what they called the fishbowl, which was a conference room with a lot of windows, so everybody outside could stare and laugh at you while
Makes
you're
sense.
sitting in the meeting wanting to kill yourself. And
I know that feeling.
So somebody asked a question, and the project manager says, "That's a great question. Let's dialogue about that." And I really wanted to pull the skin off my own face just to create a medical emergency so that I could get out of there at that point, because it was everything I could do not to say, why would I dialogue? You can talk, you can chat, you can
kick
discuss.
this around. We can kick it around. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's just it comes from a position of wanting to preserve one's own position by acting smarter and just being like, okay, if I use these big words, you have to look up to me and you'll do what I want.
Number 6 on the list, Lee, says, the fact of the matter is, another one is breaking down silos, which is odd because I doubt if the person that says breaking down silos has ever been in a silo. Here's one you'll love, the paradigm shift. Well, I'm prioritizing your paradigm. And the thing is, that'll be like a corporate philosophy somewhere. Oh, here's another one. To be fair. To be fair. No, I expect you to be unfair in dealing with me. Here's one. Let's get disruptive. Well, let's just rip our clothes off. That sounds great, doesn't it? Let's get disruptive. That almost sounds dirty. Going forward, here's another one, right? Going forward. Lee, let's touch base. Let's touch base next week. Like, you mean home plate on a ball diamond? They say pushing the envelope in the pipeline is one they don't like over at Inc. Leveraging our assets. I'm not even sure what to say about that. Oh, how about this, Lee? Let's take this offline so we can discuss the low-hanging fruit of prioritizing your paradigm.
Okay.
What do you think of that one?
This is starting to hurt.
I know it is. Okay, I've only got a few left. How about let's move the needle? I was just talking to Wayne about this. Think outside of the box. Oh, here's one, Lee, you'll love. Let's get granular. Let's dialogue, Lee, and get granular, because this really has legs. Like a ZZ Top song, right?
Make it stop.
I know. We got to raise the bar. Let's run it up the flagpole, get our ducks in a row, right? Because we got to synergize. So maybe we can loop back or circle back when we're done with our dialoguing and have some 360-degree thinking. Because, Lee, my door is always open. All right, I'm going to stop. Unless you want to take one of these on a deep dive and pick my brain. Right? So, thank you, Ashley, very much, baby. I appreciate that. But that's what Inc. said is, oh, yeah, we've just got to do away with those. That's not, nobody is happy. Nobody is happy with that. So, Lee, all joking aside, when it comes to writing copy, and whether you're writing a love note, get your ducks in a row. Thank you, Marcellus, very much. Oh, hey, do I have a quacking duck sound? No, but you know what? I think I have monkey chatter. Well, hold on, let me see. I have a bird squawking. Hold on, let me see if this works. There you go. That's almost like getting my ducks in a row, Marcellus. So, Lee, when it comes to writing a love letter, when it comes to writing a sales letter, when it comes to writing a birthday card, all we're really talking about is not dialoguing, right? It's just putting your emotion, putting your heart, putting your natural, putting your unique out on paper, out in voice, out to communicate. Isn't that all we're really looking for when it comes to being really effective at being a copywriter?
It really is. I've said before that you don't read good copy, you feel it. And, feeling you can feel the authenticity of words. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to be all cosmic and woo about it or anything like that. But
you're welcome to.
It's you feel the intent, the authenticity behind those. I mean, and some people are really good at creating that authenticity, and some people aren't. Those are the people that you could, they'll send you an email and you get fired up for an hour before you realize they didn't really even mean anything. That happens quite often too. But I found that the more authentically me I am, the better results I get through the copy and messaging I create, not only for myself but through my clients. I mean, you have to connect with the end user, you have to take in with what the person who is reading or listening to it, what their interests and styles and phrases and what kind of language they use. But there also has to be an authenticity to it, and it's touching, diving into, as you say, your heart's highest priority,
right?
And being authentically you. Then that shows through the copy, and that definitely moves the needle, if you will.
Sue says, feel the copy. Yes. And Sue, well, I'll let Sue, Sue, you just let me know if I can tell everyone, maybe not where exactly, but generally what you do, because Sue has to deal with copy Lee every single day and at a really high level. Candace says, I agree, Lee. And Henry says, what about be the copy? Well, I think that summarizes you, Lee. Every time I watch you when you're getting ready to do it, I often think about how it just comes naturally to you because you're busy being Lee. That's why we're calling the Wednesday segments Lee words, right?
Well, nobody else wanted the job of being me, so.
Good thing, right? It's a good gig, though, right? I'll keep mine, but yours is a good gig. Sue says, okay, you can. It's no big deal. Sue is a producer and an editor and a writer and pretty much kept me in line for a long time at the television station that I worked at. So she's responsible. She takes it and she just crafts it so that it's something that grabs you, right? When you see the nightly news and people say, oh, well, I have to tune in. There's going to be a Bud Light commercial, but after the commercial, I got to come back and right. I got to see, I've been hooked. I got to see what this is. Well, that's what's, that's what Sue does. So when it comes to copywriting, Sue has to do it all the time, Lee, but she does it like under the gun. I think I'm allowed to say under the gun. I don't know anymore, right? She does it under the clock, right? Where someone will go, oh, here's the story. And so Sue will just be like typing away, coming up with something really cool to get people to want to tune in, to stay tuned, right? Come back after the commercial break. So she does it running and gunning all the time. Now I want a Bud Light. Thanks, Brian. Well, I could have said cannoli and then my stomach would have been growling, but I know what you mean. So Lee, talk to me a little bit about that. When you have to do it, it's just about being natural. It's about being yourself. As Henry says, be the copy.
I completely agree. I like that phrase, be the copy. So that's very nice. So I'm not sure why I'm the copywriter then if we're doing this. No. Absolutely. It's when you're coming from a place of authenticity, you're more relaxed. You're not using, the big words. You're not dialoguing and circling the wagons or whatever the heck it is.
Prioritizing the paradigm so that we can upsell the silo and downsell the whatever else is going on. Well, I say all the time, and I think Sue taught me this, right? Because especially when I got my start in television, I can't even say that. There was no way I was ever going to come off as polished, right? I think everybody knew that from the very first time they ever saw me. But what she would tell me, or left over from those days, is that the New York Times, I think, is written at like the 10th grade reading level. The 10th grade reading level. Mm-hmm. So that when we want to communicate with people as much as we want to say vicissitudinal, right? Maybe sometimes peaks and valleys is a better way than vicissitudinal. Maybe, I'm just saying, could be a little mercurial, I know. But just being natural with how you feel. When I tell people, be mouth-watering to yourself, it's the same with writing copy. If what was something else that Sue taught me? 8th grade, actually. Oh, is it really? Well, Sue will know. Sue says it's an 8th grade reading level. Oh, sure. Now blame Sue. Yeah. So I guess the New York Times is written at the 8th grade reading level. Wow. Now I feel like I really proved the point. Lee, what do you think?
Well, yeah. I guess what I would say is that you want to communicate your authenticity as simply as possible. Okay. Because while you do want to create those relationships, I don't remember who it was that one of the marketing guys a couple days ago I heard is that when you're creating your ad, you should expect people to say, "Don't make me think."
Wow.
So, it's feeling but not thinking. And that's really where the words, especially the industry jargon, I would get clients a lot of times that they want to throw in all these industry buzzwords, corporate buzzwords, whatever, to show how great this thing is. But what they're really doing is introducing obstacles into the process of feeling the copy.
Oh, so
because
more.
Has this,
I'm sorry, Lee. I was just going to say more empathetically than, in terms of writing it. So it's more empathetic than intellectual.
Yeah.
More feeling than communicating a particular philosophy.
Well, that's true. That's true. And part of the other reason for that, we have to do that, is because the person that's sitting in the chair or sitting in the car or in the bus seat or whatever, reading what you're writing, assuming it's online, I guess it's offline too, they're in the story. I mean, and realistically, if you're trying to persuade them, they need to be the star of that story. And that's one thing that a lot of business owners tend to get into, is like they want to be the star. They want to be the hero. They want to be the, look at what I know and what I can do and what I've done and the certifications that I have and all this. But taking somebody through a journey effectively means making them the star of the show. And you are just there as a guide. Okay?
Okay.
They're Luke Skywalker. You're Yoda.
Oh, but I want to be Luke Skywalker.
Well, yeah.
Can I be? There's mornings where I wake up, I feel more like Jabba the Hutt. Could I be? Could I be Chewbacca? That's the thing I would like to be, Chewbacca. Although I don't have the hair for it, I don't think. No, but I get Chewbacca. But that's really fascinating to me that you say make them the hero. Right? We're not mansplaining, right? So make them the hero or the heroine of the particular sentence that you're writing in that moment. Henry says, there's my problem. I have it backwards. Thank you, Henry. I always laugh when I talk to Henry. So, but that's really interestingly where you make them the hero. I never thought of it that way.
Well, what's everybody's favorite subject?
Politics.
Themselves.
Oh, I was going to say themselves, and I picked politics first. No, you're right. So if they talk about themselves, I remember Ben Franklin, in his little book of aphorisms, he said one of the quickest ways to get to the parents is to compliment their children. So all you're saying is one of the quickest ways to make the copy work is compliment the person reading it. Make them the verb. Make them the actor. Make them the superhero, so that they feel like they're buying into what it is that you've written. Is that fair? I'll loan you my hair. No, okay, so let me, before you answer, Lee, Henry's got really long hair. He'll be Chewbacca. I'll be R2-D2. Oh, you could be C-3PO.
I knew that was coming.
Well, listen, I said I was Jabba the Hutt first, so you had to know. If I'm throwing myself under the bus, I'm dragging you down with me. So you're right.
I'd be disappointed if you didn't do that. I really would.
I'm sorry to interrupt. It's the show.
Low-hanging fruit.
It's low. Thank you. Well, let's keep it in the silo, right? Here in the fish bowl, the fish tank, which reminded me of West Virginia. Do you know we used to drink beer when I was in college? We drank beer in Morgantown, West Virginia, out of actual goldfish bowls. That's what they served it in. The bar that we used to frequent, you would drink your beer out of a goldfish bowl.
Oh, on purpose.
Yeah. So when you said that, that's what made me think. Which is probably why I got on Bud Light, which is why Sue was saying to me, oh, great. Jamie says, Lee, do you write down the bones and then go back and try to fix it? Great question. Thank you, Jamie, very much. Do you write down the bones and then go back and throw some skin on the skeleton, I think, is what I'm asking. Lee?
Yes.
Okay.
And even that, I guess, to keep with that analogy, I usually start at the feet. I usually start at where the person will end up at the end of their journey after they've bought, signed up for, taken, read, whatever it is we're trying to get them to do after they've taken that action, where they're going to be. The true superhero status because they've solved their problem. Right. And then I work backwards to the solution and then back to the problem.
Interesting.
So, and essentially if I'm writing a sales page, I'm writing it from the end back to the beginning, because by the time you get back to the beginning, the headline, the hook that you need to get them interested in reading the rest of whatever it is you've written, pretty much writes itself.
Interesting. That really is something else.
That's my way of doing things.
Well, I think it's a great way when you talk about writing from if we're sticking with the skeleton, as you said, the skeleton analogy, you write with the feet. Where are you going to get the person reading, the person that you're interacting with, and however you do it? How are you going to get them in terms of movement? Let me just say quickly, Darren says, I can be the princess. So Darren's volunteering to be Princess Leia. I guess. I thought, I would have said Jamie or Candace probably would pick up that role, but Darren was the first to jump on and say he'll be the princess. Let me say also hello quickly to Denise. Denise, thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Was thinking about you today with Hurricane Florence. Talk about leewards, getting out of the wind of the storm with Florence acting up in the Atlantic. I was thinking about you and hoping you guys will be okay. Henry says, if the focus is on the person, what element of the person do you focus on when writing the copy? Another great question. Henry asks Lee, if the focus is on the person, what element of the person do you focus on when writing the copy?
The ambition.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
To elaborate on that, what it is that they want to achieve that the product, service, or information can help them achieve, can be a tool for them, can be the guide, the Yoda, if you will.
Okay. So it's the ambition, it's the light at the end of the tunnel that you think of.
Correct. I mean, obviously there are other aspects of that branch out, but that's the core of where I start, and then move out to other things that the problem is affecting. I keep going back to the rheumatoid arthritis example. That it doesn't just cause you pain; it causes you to not be able to sleep at night. It causes you to not to be able to play with your kids, not to be able to do this and to do that, and all these things that you might not think of when you think of somebody with rheumatoid arthritis. So
all the tributaries, not just the pain, but all the tributaries. Okay.
Exactly. And even on there from, you can go on even farther out with things that really would seem to have nothing to do with the problem, but that make up the personality of the people who tend to have that same problem. Again, like I say, I'm a big fan of just diving into what people have to say when they think that we're not listening.
I know you are. I know you are.
One face, and that sounds kind of creepy, doesn't it?
No, not at all. Because when you first said that to me, you're like, it made me think back to my days as a cop.
Okay.
If when they said, "Oh, you're leading with that question," did you see this guy come into the store with a gun? Well, yes, I did. I saw. No, you can't lead with a question like that. You have to say, okay, so what'd you see next? And then if he volunteers, I saw that guy come into the stop and rob with a gun, then you got something. But you can't lead with it. So when you said to me before about wanting to find the ways of listening when they don't think we're listening, you're just not leading them with a question that would get an answer that you're anticipating. You really are going in, like riding like there ain't no clown. You're going in with no rodeo clown. You're going, let me see what comes up. No holds barred.
I would agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then that's important, as you say, because if they don't think we're listening or they're telling you something, I've heard you call them nuggets before, gold nuggets. You do so because they're being honest. There's no entrapment. And I'll use the word entrapment again, saying there's no getting them to pigeonhole their answer in a silo, right? Pigeonhole them in an answer in a silo, in a paradigm that you're looking for. So it's genuine.
Exactly.
It's natural and it's genuine.
Genuine is the perfect word for it, yes.
And how, can I ask, without giving away all the trade secrets,
Okay.
how have you found, what are some of the tricks or the techniques that you use to find people at their rawest, at their most genuine, at their most honest?
I love to tap into social media,
Okay.
especially non-business social media, such as Facebook groups are one of my favorite things.
Okay.
To just go into a niche Facebook group. Say I'm creating a course that's designed for coaches, and I could go into those groups and just kind of hang out. And I'll interact a little bit, nothing too heavy, just kind of superficial stuff, just to let them know that I'm there. But I don't come out and say, hey, I'm a marketer and I'm trying to figure out what your what your problems are, so that I can come sell you something. But to just kind of hang out and be genuinely care about what they're talking about, and just kind of just see what happens, see what they come up with. I found some amazing things. In fact, one of the headlines that I used for a page came directly from something that a member of the coaching group said, which was something to the effect of, I always feel like if I could just tweak one thing in my business, it would skyrocket, but I just don't know what that thing is.
What that one thing is, sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't use that word for word, but I mean, that concept gave me exactly what I needed to help people through that product, but just by getting them interested in it first, because if you don't know solutions out there, how can you take advantage of it? But getting that in front of them through a compelling headline that makes them want to read the rest of what you have to say is super important. And I didn't have to write that myself. It just basically wrote itself after I spent some time listening to people in that group.
Let me say hello quickly to Janice. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Patricia, I think I said hello early on. Patricia, nice to see you as well. Marcella says, what is his interrogation technique? And I think that's it, Lee. Your interrogation technique is not try to entrap someone by giving them a preconceived notion of what you think you want the answer to be. You're going in kind of blind and going, hey, whatever it is you throw out, I'm ready to take it as a genuine, raw, authentic train of thought. And Candace says earlier, just so you know, that's great. A lot of people wouldn't think about how an example of rheumatoid arthritis really affects not only the person, but Lee, like you're saying, okay, so not the person, the lack of sleep, it affects their dog. The dog can't get them to go and play with them. It affects their kids. Maybe they didn't make it to the football game, or maybe they didn't make it to the volleyball match or the like. So really diving deep to figure out someone afflicted with rheumatoid arthritis, there might be a myriad of things where they think life is subpar for them. They don't think life has the quality that it should. And that's what you pay attention to when you're looking for these different little nuggets of gold on social media.
Well, that's exactly right, because when you are writing a piece of copy that to persuade them to watch a video or download a free guide or buy a course or whatever it is that you're trying to, however you're trying to help them, then, don't you think, if you had rheumatoid arthritis and you read something where somebody was telling you, like, look, I get it, you can't sleep, you're arguing with your husband or your wife more because you just don't feel good. It's been weeks since you've been able to go take the dog for a walk and
sure.
that, and I understand how hard those things are.
And
then those walls just go down.
Because you understand. And that's the word that I thought was really interesting. When you said that the reader goes, okay, well, he must understand the plight that I'm in because he's drilled all the way down. It's just not just surface, on the surface. Oh, you have rheumatoid arthritis. But what it really means to be imprisoned by that disease. And I think that's what Candace was saying. Good evening to Sarah. Sarah, thank you so very, very much for joining us. Carla says, makes sense. Carla, I would absolutely agree. So you just try to find out a whole host of symptoms. Is that the word to use, Lee? It's not just the one disease, but the symptoms surrounding the disease, so that when you highlight those, I don't want to use the word trigger points because that's probably not the way of looking at it, but those are the little things, those are the little pieces of Velcro that cause people to go, no, you know what? Lee really does get me, because you have drilled down to all those symptoms.
Mm-hmm. That's true. They are symptoms, because anything that you're selling or doing for somebody, you're trying to fix a problem. I mean, and that could be a disease, it could be an inconvenience, it could be lack of time, it could be any number of things. All products fix problems.
All products
Doritos fix hunger. Not well, but Doritos fix hunger. Anything that you're selling fixes the problem. And they're with every problem comes symptoms. So it's a very accurate way of putting it.
I love it. Okay, if you would, I'm just typing that real quick into the feed. All products fix problems. All right, so that's in. No, I love that, Lee. That's great. So, listen, I've had so much fun. I didn't even throw out the number. 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BU. If you want to talk to Lee. Candace says, I love how you pull out what will get attention. I understand that now. She says, I never really thought about it that way. So, Lee, because I don't want to run out of time, if you can hang for a few more minutes with us, I promised it would only be until 1:45, but could you give people an idea? Because I keep putting up the Sales Copy Academy banner and the logo. What's Sales Copy Academy, and what are we talking about, right? So what can people expect? I love the ad that you put up yesterday. Can you give us a little bit of idea of what Sales Copy Academy is all about?
At its fundamental level, Sales Copy Academy is about helping brandpreneurs, and that's coaches, consultants, artists, writers, small business owners, anybody who is the face of their own brand, helping them persuade without feeling slimy. That's really what this is all about. When most people who know what sales copy is, they think of this highly manipulative, high pressure, almost infomercial type, get down to Buddy's Carpet Bar now, where you'll, that sort of thing. Get down by midnight, or it'll all be gone, sort of thing. And there are a lot of people are still using those tactics, and because okay, they kind of work, but you feel like you need to be hosed down afterward, and that's what really bothered me as a copywriter. And why I wanted to find a different, more relationship-based way, something that, a means of persuasive copy that builds connections instead of trying to force people into a sale.
And I think when you say that, Robert Ogilvy, who was someone that I studied long before I wanted to learn anything about copywriting, but I remember once, Lee, he said, in the new Rolls-Royce, at 60 miles an hour, the loudest thing is the clock. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was so smart. Because if you're in a vehicle and you're bombing down the road, of course, the road noise is something that always bugs you. But he says in the new Rolls-Royce, and maybe it was 70 miles an hour, the loudest thing is the clock. And I thought that's always stuck in my mind, because I just thought it was so creative to address the focus of the person thinking of purchasing a Rolls-Royce. That would be one of the things that grated on their nerves. So he right away said, okay, this grates on their nerves. I'm going to address it right up front. And talk about the meticulous attention to detail that it's implied that Rolls-Royce has to make sure that at that speed, all you hear is the second hand on the clock. Ogilvy was just brilliant, I thought.
Yeah, it's a statement of luxury, which is the aspiration of that market.
Well, as you say, all products fix problems. Let me say hello quickly to Heather. Heather, thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. 833-462-3968, 3968 or go be you. So Lee, also, in addition to when people come to Sales Copy Academy, we're also going to be starting, tonight is the inaugural night, I guess, of Lee Word Wednesdays, but we are going to be not challenging, but inviting people, I guess. Someone will submit a particular project or something that they're working on, and then what we'll do is we'll start with that project at Lee Words Wednesdays, and then Copy That Speaks will be the new podcast. So within Copy That Speaks, we'll pick a listener a week based on the interaction here in the thread, and then we'll kind of banter around what would be some creative copy for that individual's brand. Is that the best way of putting it, do you think? Was that your understanding?
Exactly.
So,
exactly. That way we can...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That way we can hone into one person's concerns, because copy is so unique.
Right.
That's one thing about the trainings that makes it really difficult to teach copy, is because your voice and your audience are not the same as mine. It's not the same as Henry's. It's not the same as Sue's. It's not the same as anybody's.
Right.
Okay? So it really does need that one-on-one perspective to find solutions that work for you and your audience, and not just general cookie cutter stuff that nobody really responds to anymore.
And I think, speaking of general cookie cutter stuff, I think one of the things that I'm so excited about for Copy That Speaks is it's not going to be a podcast in its normal sense. We're always going to do them live. So people will have the chance to interact with you, and we're going to send them over to the Sales Copy Academy Facebook page, or maybe we'll send it over to the Sales Copy Academy YouTube page. But it's going to be in this particular moment in all of time. And I guess what else we could call it? Nowcast, maybe, Lee? Present cast.
Nowcasting.
Nowcasting. Okay. So we'll be talking about nowcasting, and we're going to do it live, so that people can join us and go, hey, I've been working on this problem. I've been working on this launch of this brand. I've been working on this and that. Could you guys maybe? Thank you, Jamie. Jamie says that's brilliant. Marcella says it better be for the price you pay for a Rolls. I would absolutely agree. But we'll be able to whiteboard out some possible solutions based on what the one lucky caller gets for being involved in Copy That Speaks.
It's going to be a fantastic time.
Well,
I'm very much looking forward to that.
As I am too. As I said the other day, talking to someone about you, you always make me laugh. So, when you think of, I'm going to take a copywriting course, you could be giving a course on being a stand-up comedian. You really could. So I love that. And that's why I'm looking forward to Copy That Speaks as the podcast. And then for people here in the thread, because Lee has said, look, let's pick people. Let's pick our friends from here in the thread and have them be the ones whose name are thrown into the hat or thrown under the spin the win wheel. And then we'll pick that person, and later that week, they'll be the co-host, the tri-host of our show, and we'll be working out the copy together so that everybody can listen in, kind of see the whiteboard and see exactly, really, Lee, it's to see how your mind works in real time. You know what I mean? Like, see Lee in action. That's what we have as a hope for Copy That Speaks. Is that a fair assessment, Lee?
It is. Do I get my own action figure?
Yes, you get your own action figure. Now, you won't... I'm not even going to say which one, because all you're going to do is hold over my head that I said CPO or C3PO or whatever, Sharky, whatever. So you pick any action figure you want, brother.
You could have said Jar Jar Binks. So, I mean...
Jar Jar Binks. I could have.
That's a step up.
Well, listen, I call myself Jabba the Hutt, right? Right. So I think everything else, by the way, everything else is fair game. Although I do like Yoda. Do or do not, there is no try. Always with you what cannot be done. It's just great writing. All right, so Lee, a little bit in our closing minute here. So how can people learn more about Sales Copy Academy? And if you don't mind, either after you, air guitar is off limits. No, it is not, Candace. You should see Lee with an air guitar. Unbelievable. No, it is not off limits. Although Lee plays an air ukulele. You got to see. It's unbelievable. So no, it will not be off limits. But Lee, will you post in the thread how people can see your latest ad and how people can hook up with everything that's going on at Sales Copy Academy? Just so I don't type the wrong link. If you would do that.
It's probably the easiest thing to do. I'll just put in the Sales Copy Academy's Facebook page. Will that work?
Yeah, that would be great if you don't mind. Fantastic. And then we'll start looking. For the very first person. Maybe next Wednesday, Lee, if it's cool with you, we'll say, hey, here in the thread, what is something that you all are working on? Is there a brand you're trying to launch? Is there, is there a letter that you're trying? Oh, maybe like an admissions letter to college. It's something where you've got to, right? You've got to put it down and you've got to be passionate about it. We'll pick it starting next Wednesday from someone here in the thread. And then shortly thereafter, we'll do our first inaugural copy that speaks. How does that sound?
Perfect.
All right, my friend. Well, you are the one that sponsors the clock. You brought the clocks to the studio, so our time is up, Lee. Thank you so very much. I'm sorry that I forgot to open the calls till it was almost a little too late, but as always, it's an absolute joy speaking with you. Thank you. There she goes. Candace, laugh out loud. She likes the air ukulele, so you better practice up, Lee. Candace is a tough boss, I'll tell you. I think Sue was a tough boss. You should see Candace. Query letters are brutal. See what I mean? Here's Jamie saying query letters are brutal, so we can talk about that. And then Lee put up at facebook.com/Sales Copy Academy. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Lee, if you'll hold on as we get ready to end the show, thank you so very much for your time. Thank you for everyone that posted the great comments and questions here in the thread. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. for Bring Your Own Bold. And then tomorrow night will be our final evening. I think tomorrow night I would like to talk. Jamie says, thank you, Lee. Just so you know, Jamie, I will extend the thank you to Lee. I thought tomorrow night maybe we'll talk about boundaries, but we'll get into that tomorrow morning. Lee, thank you so very much again. Please, everyone, check out facebook.com/Sales Copy Academy. And until we meet again tomorrow, go be you. Go be your differently.
IPMNation.com.